Yo, what's going on, GBA fans? I'm Ben, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host. Introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Mantosh here.
And we are here to bring you all the power rankings for Week 9 of GBA Season 9. So, let's just hop right in with both of our number 16s in Kyle. Do we have much to say about Kyle? I mean, he's been eliminated from playoffs for a few weeks now, and he's just been bringing memes lately.
Yeah, this was just a meme match with him and Leo Hay.
Yeah.
And they both brought proper memes, so I would suggest you guys go check that out because it was actually really fun to watch.
Yeah, like, they were just having fun. This game, I don't believe, had any effect on the playoff race. Oh, it might have some effect on the seeding. Because, I mean, yeah, Leo's in playoff, of course.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Kyle's had a rough season. Now he's just bringing memes, having fun, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, if you guys want to see what No Ball Raw does, go check out the video.
Alright, so why don't I just move on to both of our number 15s in Deathly?
Sure thing.
Alright, I'm going to have to eat my words here. Deathly's prep was on point this week. I feel his play was a little questionable, but regardless, he did what he needed to win the game, and for that I've got to give him credit. Protect on Tapu Fini was a really nice bring to get that extra little bit of health back from lefties. That proved to be pretty handy in this game because Tup had a really hard time killing that Fini. Getting rid of Zero Aura early was huge for that Fini. But as we'll talk about later, I feel like that was more so a misplay from Tup's end than a good play from Deathly's end. And in terms of the questionable plays, the first one that caught my eye was when he switched from the Magnezone into the Cure White on Zero Aura when Tup could have very easily clicked Close Combat. And then he proceeded to sack it off the following turn. I mean, like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with sacking off a Pokemon, but when it's Tier 1 Uber, turn 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets no damage off at all, right? It didn't do anything in the game.
Yeah, I didn't.
No. I felt like he should have gone hard into Magnezone at the end, even though like it was a misplay from Tup and it worked out. The only way he beat Gren was by keeping Magnezone healthy, I felt, but I felt like the reason that it went well is because Tup misplayed. So I feel like if he went hard, sorry, not the Fini, it was the only way he beat Gren. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I felt like when he was in, he should have gone hard Magnezone because it covers most of Fini's plays, especially if Tup was to put a double out into Sizzle, something like that. But other than that, I thought he played really, really well this week, and he deserved to win.
Yeah. And I also do want to mention that earlier on in the game, when he went into his Scarfoopa Unbound, he clicked Hyperspace Hole, and I believe this was actually a misgen. I actually have his sets. This was a physically offensive Hoopa-U with Hyperspace Fury. I don't know exactly how that works in the game, but if it was Hyperspace Fury, I think the Zero Aura would have just dropped right there.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but those things happen, I mean.
Yeah. And I don't think it really had too much of an effect on the game since Tup did just sack the Zera anyway.
Yeah. True.
But we'll talk about this game more when we get to Tup, of course, because...
Yeah, definitely.
Again, yeah, it feels like this was mostly misplays on his end.
Yeah, and it definitely has more consequence for Tup to losing than Deathly winning in terms of playoffs and, you know, the overall league.
Yeah, exactly. Alright.
Cool, so should we move on to both of our number 4 teams?
Yep.
In Nexus? Do you want to take Nexus?
I don't think Nexus or Necro have uploaded. I don't even know if they played this week.
No, they didn't. That's why, yeah, I was just looking through my notes and I was like, I cannot find my notes on, yeah, no, they didn't upload, yeah. Okay, cool. So should we just skip over that one?
Yeah, I don't think they played their game at all. I don't remember seeing it on the doc.
No, I didn't think they did either.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we can go to both our number 13s.
Yeah.
In Tom.
Yep.
Where?
Oh, this game. Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, this game.
This game was so stally and repetitive. I think Tom summed it up well when he said, "We only have 20 minutes left, and nothing has really happened here outside of our Tier 1 Ubers dying."
Yep.
Yeah, I think the main thing that I have to say about Tom was the Scizor bring. It was really interesting, and I liked that he brought it because he knew it would throw Danza off, and he wouldn't really prep for it that hard. I don't think Mono Bullet Punch was the best call in the matchup. He did mention, of course, that he had a plan with Scizor. He brought 3 Pokemon with Earthquake. He had a Banded Weavile with Low Kick, Coco could pressure out the Heatran with Wild Charge, or he could just U-turn out into either Ho or Latios. Basically, he could kill the Heatran with almost every other mod on his team, then Mono Bullet Punch Scissor Coat would work, but...
On that note, I would have liked to have seen Superpower on the Sizzle, to be honest with you. Like, maybe even over Sword Stance, or maybe over... What was his full moveset? Bullet Punch, Sword Stance, Roost, and Defog.
Yeah.
So yeah, then he could have maybe... I know he had lots of 4-move syndrome this week, I felt. Like on Scizor, Lati, or Gliscor. I don't feel like he had room for Defog on the Lati. I think maybe he could have put it on Gliscor over Taunt. Maybe. Because Superpower would have been really nice to catch that Heatran off guard, and it would have changed the game quite a bit, actually.
You mean Defog on Scizor? Like, he didn't have room for that. And he could have put
Yeah. So switch Superpower for Defog on Scizor, and then get Defog on Gliscor and trade that for Taunt.
See, I could see that being a thing. I feel like U-turn would be a bit better just to gain him that momentum. And as we saw in the game, it was very momentum-based.
Yeah.
But of course, hindsight is 20/20, and Tom also mentioned that last week he brought U-turn, whereas if he had Superpower, or not Superpower, if he had Swords Dance, he would have had a much better shot to win the game. And this week he brought Swords Dance, whereas if he had U-turn, he would have had a much better shot to win the game.
Yep.
So it's a little unfortunate that it turned out that way, but yeah. Hindsight is 20/20. There was no way for him to know this game would be so stally and repetitive.
Yeah, I know, but Danza just loves timer. He just loves the timer, man.
Yo, and weren't you saying earlier on in the season, that first time when he disconnected against Aster?
Yep.
Yep.
I did say the statistics don't lie. Tom was another play I had a slight issue with Tom was I felt like keeping Ho-Oh healthy was more important than weakening Silvally. So I feel like he could have roosted instead of just going for the Brave Bird and getting all the chip damage. He got loads of chip damage off onto the Silvally, but he also took big recoil, which I thought was slightly unfortunate. Also, I was trying to mull this over in my head. I'm really not sure who got the better trade on the Palkia for Ho-Oh. Because Ho-Oh was such a threat to Danza's team, but at the same time, like Palkia was just such a big threat to Tom's team. So, and I'm not sure Tom really had a switch into the Palkia at that point. So I was trying to mull it over, and I really couldn't decide. I think it was a pretty even trade, in the end.
Yeah.
You don't agree, or you think?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm just trying to think like which side would get more momentum from that, because I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, I felt like, I mean, because one thing that kept coming to my mind was that Tom was saying how hard Danza's team was to break. Oh, there's a bee. Sorry. Okay. Tom was saying how hard Danza's team is to break. And Ho-Oh was his main wall breaker. So that's why I kind of felt like Tom maybe got the slightly worst end of the deal, but at the same time he didn't have a switch into Palkia. So I really don't know.
Yeah.
Then I had one other slight problem, was that he sacked his Coco, which I think was a mistake, because he was saying how Danza was playing so safe and making switches, and his Coco would have been the one thing that forced Danza to make aggressive switches. Like, he would have to go in on Crook, but then if he goes for U-turn, then Crook takes loads of damage, and if he goes for Thunderbolt, then something on his team takes loads of damage. So I felt that if Tom wanted to break the trends, he had to try and force Danza to play in a way where Danza had to make plays and make something happen for him, and I felt like Coco would have been the way to do that.
But also in his defense, I believe at that point in the game when he sacked Coco, the timer was running super low, and I'm pretty sure he was just getting impatient because, like, he asked Danza not to timer stall and not to stall him out, and then, like, well, there were like 5 minutes left, and it was still 5-4.
Yeah.
Or
well,
5-5
I still think it was a slight mistake, but
yeah, and I agree, but.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, to be fair, everyone gets impatient, especially if your opponent, I don't know if Danza was taking the full 90 seconds or whatever. yeah, that can be annoying. So fair enough.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about Danza and that win condition when we get to
Yeah.
him, of course.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so shall we move on?
Yeah, yeah.
So we've got both on our number 12s in Goldoa.
Yep.
This was a really good match, actually. If you guys haven't seen this match, definitely make sure you go check it out because it was really fun to watch. Goldoa is really good at using Ditto. I really like how he used it. The Stack Attacker Trick Room was a really nice bring, and as I always like to say, he definitely kept his game plan in mind for the whole match, and he always had clear what he needed to do against Nate's team in order to win with his Stack Attacker. I just felt like he just got too far in the back early on, and it was just too much for him. Because he was in the back, he didn't get the chip that he needed on Nate's team in order for the Stack Attacker to win. Had he played, I don't even want to say better, but maybe just slightly differently at the beginning, had things have gone slightly differently, I think Goldoa definitely had a solid win con in Stack Attacker there. And we'll get to Nate when we get to him, but he played super solidly around the Stack Attacker because that thing is really not easy to prep for at all. And he made some good doubles, Goldoa. He clicked Earth Power on the Arcanine switch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which I really liked. And I felt like last week I said that it would have been nice if he was in the back and started playing aggressively, and he did that slightly more this time, which was definitely nice to see. And I was looking through the game because obviously he lost, and I was trying to see where he could have played the end game differently to where he won it, but I think honestly he played it well. I just think, like I said, he was too far in the back at that point, and Nate played it really solidly.
I actually do see one thing he could have done differently at the very end.
Cool.
Yeah. When Trick Room had just expired, Nate had sent out his Naganadel, and Goldoa had his Stack Attack on the field. I believe Naganadel was at about half, Stack Attacker was at 75%, and he had a full health Reshiram in the back. He knew that if the Naganadel had Hidden Power Ground, it would have a shot at winning the game. The only moves that were revealed were Draco Meteor and U-Turn. If Goldoa stays in, and Nate does have Hidden Power, he loses. If he stays in, and Nate doesn't have Hidden Power, well, like, duh, of course he wins. Alternatively, if Goldoa switches out into his Chocoberry Reshiram on the Hidden Power Ground, he forces Nate to click Draco Meteor the following turn. If Nate doesn't click Draco Meteor for some reason, okay, Goldoa survives and kills it with Dragon Pulse. If Nate does click Draco Meteor, Reshiram dies, Naganadel is at -2. Nate brought a speed boosting Naganadel, but even if he was special attack boosting, I believe Stack Attacker would have lived a -1 Hidden Power Ground from 75%.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, I did not think about that. That is that was definitely the series of play he needed to make. He just had to force basically to get the special attack drop from the Naganadel, and and that was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good spot, man.
And also, he would have to rely on hitting a Stone Edge because he was out of Gyro Ball PP.
Yeah.
Which I also think he should have clicked Stone Edge on the Mewtwo because it was already revealed that Stack Attacker kind of walled it. So if there was any time to miss a Stone Edge, I think it would have been then.
See, I think you should have done it on the Sylveon.
Oh, yeah, that too. That makes more sense, actually.
Yeah, I think you should have done it on the Sylveon. And one other slight misplay I had is that he sacked his Ditto to Sylveon when he has Stack Attacker in the back, and I feel like Ditto, if he had that at the end, obviously he would have won.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But other than that, really hype game, and I do honestly think that he played well, all in all. But those, you're right, I didn't think about those series of plays at the end, and that was definitely the play.
Yeah. Aside from that, maybe there were a few more opportunities where he could have reset the Trick Room with the Stack Attacker, like in front of the Mewtwo, but otherwise, yeah, I think he played well.
Yep, same. Cool, so shall we move on?
Yeah.
So we don't need to cover Necro.
Yeah, because, again, Nexus didn't play this week.
So let's move on to actually the opponent of that match, both our number 10s, Innate.
And if he wants to get rid of R-Rocks, then he is pretty much forced to defog because he doesn't really have a Rapid Spinner.
Okay, cool. So I felt like Nate used Mewtwo a bit better this game. As it did apply pressure, it was a decent set to be able to deal with an opposing Mewtwo opposing Ditto disguised as Mewtwo. And I felt he played the end game pretty well, to be honest. And he managed to stall out the Trick Room in time, keep his Naganadel in the back for the Stack Attacker, which is really nice. Hidden Power Fighting / Ground. No, it was Hidden Power Ground, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That he had on it.
So hidden power fighting technically isn't possible, but I digress. I'm not gonna nerd out.
It's
again.
not possible.
Yeah, because the IVs in Gen 6 and 7, all legendaries have to have 3 perfect IVs, and hidden power fighting and hidden power flying, I believe, require the Pokemon to have 4 imperfect IVs.
Oh, well, did not know that. You learn something new every day. Okay, back to Nate. He oh yeah, I thought this was weird. He went Sylveon on Donphan in the Trick Room when he had Skarmory in the back.
Yeah, that's true.
And Donphan can run Gunk Shot.
Yeah, whereas Skarmory
especially
kind of
after and Sylveon switched in on the knockoff, so it's like he'd know he'd knock off the berry as well, so he knows he's not the berry. So I thought that was a bit weird. But Hillbell was nice still, and he managed to stall out a bit because of Protect. But honestly, if he had the Gunk Shot, that would have been a bit of that would have been really a big blow for Nate. He used Wish well, and he played solidly. And I felt he played optimally, I think, around the Trick Room at the end. And if Sylveon had gone down to the Donphan, then he could have been in trouble because he wouldn't have been able to stall out the Trick Room as easily. But yeah, like I said, he played well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I liked how he used Sylveon this week. And I liked the concept of his prep. Like, I like the idea of Flashfire Arcanine to switch into the Reshiram, but that's not how that works, because Reshiram's Turbo Blaze ignores abilities. So, yeah, I can still click Blue Flare in front of that. That was just a minor oversight in prep. I don't think it really changed the game or anything, so it's not a big deal. But I do want to talk about the Mewtwo set. Like, I was staring at it for the longest time, wondering why he had Signal Beam instead of a fighting move. Looking at Goldoa's team, I believe the mons that could take a Side Strike were like Necrozma, Stack Attacker, and Scrafty. Necrozma is the only one of those that's actually weak to Bug, but with Prism Armor, it's not going to be taking much from Signal Beam anyway. Just the stab and raw base power of Side Strike make it almost as good, just to hit, like, almost as good to hit that. But the Scrafty and the Stack Attacker would both be unaffected by a Side Strike, because, like, Scrafty, it's a Dark type, and Stack Attacker has an insanely high defense stat. So if Nate wanted to cover for Goldoa's entire team with 2 moves, I feel he should have run Side Strike and Aura Sphere, since, well, yeah, Scrafty and Stack Attacker are actually weak to fighting. Alternatively, he could have brought Calm Mind, Side Strike, Aura Sphere, Recover, because I think that still would have been able to 1v1 the Ditto, but Sub was a fine bring as well, I feel.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. I didn't realize. And having the fighting move would have made this game a bit easier for him on the Mewtwo, as Stack Attacker was able to take advantage a bit of the Mewtwo not having the fighting coverage. Did you calc the Side Strike onto Necrozma?
I didn't. I did head calc it, because Signal Beam's base 75 power, super effective, goes to 150, but because of Prism Armor, I think that just goes down to 100. Yeah. And Side Strike is base 100 with stab, goes up to 150, but resisted, I believe, goes down to 75.
75, yeah. So it can't be too different. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I would have liked to have seen that as well. However, I still think he used Mewtwo better this game, as opposed to previous weeks where I felt that he kind of wasted it in his games. I felt like Mewtwo actually kind of did something. I mean, it didn't do loads, but it did something.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, he won, so what do I know?
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah. Okay, so shall we move on, or have you got anything else to say about Nate?
Yeah, we can move on.
Cool, so both our number 9s in Tup. Tup.
Yeah.
Okay. Why didn't you take Tup?
Okay. Tup lost to Deathly this week, and that's kind of embarrassing.
But also, it's such he needed to win this game.
Yeah.
Playoffs. Yeah. He needed to win that game.
So at first, Life Orb Zera Aura was looking really, really solid in the game. It killed the Kyurem White, it killed the Hoopa Unbound, it got good chip off on the Volcarona, but as he pointed out in the commentary, Zera Aura was his best way of healing the Tapu Fini, which became a huge, huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, what? Scarf Greninja's Gunk Shot was really the only other thing that could hurt it, but if you send a Greninja out to revenge kill a Tapu Fini, Gunk Shot is the most obvious play in the history of the world. And even so, I don't think it would be one-hit KOing, and it just gives Deathly a free switch into Magnezone. Another problem with that, getting the free switch into Magnezone, with Zera Aura going down, that was tough to only Electric Community this week, so the Specs Magnezone could fire off free Volt Switches every time it comes in. That means Magnezone comes in on the Greninja's Gunk Shot, a Greninja that was pretty obviously scarfed, and he just gets to click Specs Volt Switch, gain a ton of momentum, and not to mention, he gets off a ton of damage on whatever wants to switch in. Like, that AV Entei that was designed to take his from Magnezone still took, like, nearly half.
Yeah.
And, yeah, after Zera went down, he just had such a hard time killing the Fini that he kind of got tilted, and that really did affect his play. I think he knows what he did wrong now, and what he could have done differently to win the game. And I'm sure it's even more frustrating because, like you said before, if he won this game, he clinched a playoff spot. And we could talk about those misplays he made there at the end for a while, but like I said, he was tilted. He now knows what he could have done differently. We've all been there at some point. So...
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Yeah, he should have kept the Zera Aura in the back, like you mentioned. I won't go on that too much. I have no idea how my low tick lives a Specs Volt Switch.
On a crit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that was mad. And at the end, we won't harp on it about too much. I think he should have clicked Brick Break on Sizzle, because at least if Deathly goes into Magnezone, it gets rid of that. Fini can't do much to the Sizzle. And yeah, if he just spams Brick Break, he at least deters Deathly from switching into the Magnezone there. But like you said, we don't want to harp on too much about all the misplays at the end. I think he knows what he did wrong. Also, he went for Gunk Shot on Fini and then went for it again when the Magnezone play was like super obvious. But again, he said that in his commentary, that he was tilted, like you mentioned. So there's not really much. I think you covered everything outside of all of those plays, but that was a big loss for Tup, guys, in terms of the playoff record. I feel like we all want Tup to make playoffs for the first time. But that was that. I mean, I think that was the week he had to do it on.
Yeah, I think it was.
He plays Leo next week. Hey.
Yeah, he plays Leo next week, and Nate plays Kyle next week. So there's a good chance that Nate beats Kyle, and there's a good chance that Leo beats Tup. Yeah. Leo being the #1 ranked team in the GBA for me right now. And spoilers, hashtag spoilers. Big week. Hopefully he can bounce back. I don't know what their differentials are. I believe
both -5.
Yeah, they're both -5 right now. Tup is 5 and 4, -5. Nate is 4 and 5, -5.
So if Deathly wins and if Nate wins and Tup loses, Nate does make playoffs. 100%.
Yes, assuming only if they don't both win 0-0, or they don't both only if both their games aren't 0-0, which would be really whack in the first place. Yeah,
that would be really whack.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So are we good to move on, or?
Yeah, we're good to move on. So let's do your number 8 and my number 7 in Aaron.
Yeah.
Cool. Why don't you take Aaron?
Okay. I don't think Aaron has uploaded yet, so we can't really say a ton about him this week. But yeah, he's currently sitting at 5 and 4, which is a pretty alright record, but his 4 losses, I believe, were all to very strong players. And like this week he played Jolt, and while he did bring the predictable Pokemon, he did switch up some of his sets, which I think was a really good call. Brought Bulky Mamoswine with the 50% berry. He brought especially defensive Aegislash, presumably to sponge hits from the Mew and Magearna. And he brought an item not called Focus Sash on his Rayquaza for once.
Yeah, wow.
And he did get a little bit...
It would have been better.
What?
It would have been better if he had Focus Sash this week.
Yeah, it actually would have. Yeah. And he did get a little unlucky in the game. Like Jolt's Metaletta got the special defense drop on Aegislash. Mew got a flinch on his Toxapex with 10 headbutt. But I think Jolt probably still won this game regardless. Hard to say, of course, from what we can see on Jolt's side. But it seems like the game was decided in prep. We'll talk about that later, of course, when we get to Jolt.
Yeah, and I feel like it was very smart of Aaron, like you said, to mix up his sets because he had been bringing pretty similar stuff. But against a player like Jolt, who preps like Jolt, he's going to take advantage of that. So it was definitely a good idea of Aaron to spice things up a bit. I felt that he was under prepped for Meloetta, all in all, which is fair enough. It's not like it's this huge threat that you immediately think, damn, I have to prep for that thing. But he did seem slightly under prepped. And I do feel, kind of like you said, he got out prepped this game, not outplayed. I don't think the hacks mattered at all. I'm kind of just covering all your points here, to be honest with you. And I still want to harp on that he needs to mix up the mons that he's bringing more. I think Joel even mentioned it in his commentary. The more diverse mons you bring, the harder it makes it for your opponent to know what you're going to bring, and they have to prep for everything. So they may not be able to pack moves for certain mons that they want to because they're not sure if you're going to bring all 11 of your mons or you know, just 7. Just prepping for 7 mons is so much easier.
Yeah, exactly. And Jolt's already an amazing prepper, so
exactly. Yeah, and shiny Rayquaza.
Yeah.
Cool. So are you done with Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's go to my number 8 and your number 7.
Yeah.
In Danza. So that's a big call from you. You're saying that Danza's going to be making playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To quote Tom once again, Danza used his defense in a way that was so effective it actually bored me to death. So we can talk about like timer and whether or not it's a legitimate win condition, but that's a controversial issue and we're already in a bit of hot water, so let's refrain from doing that. But Danza,
we can. I think it's fine.
See,
I don't know where you stand on it. I think that, look, okay, I'll give you my 2 cents on it. I think that when it gets to a point, I think 2 things. One, when it gets to a point and you've got 10 minutes left and you can see that you're 100% going to win a game from timer, I feel like it's okay. Okay? I feel like you should still try to win if you can, but it depends how badly you want to win the game. For me, I prefer the actual thrill of competing, so I'd always try and win the game. However, if I can win the match with the timer and it's there, I will. I think what is absolute BS, which Danza did not do, and I don't think I've seen anyone in League format do, is trying to go from timer from turn 1. Like, if you take 90 seconds from turn 1, like, I think you deserve a slap. So, and the other thing is I'm not sure why Danza goes to timer so much. I think it might just be because maybe he takes a long time to pick his moves. Or maybe I have a feeling that he takes a long time to pick his moves in the beginning of matches, and a lot of other players take a long time to pick their moves at the end of a match, and the combination of the two leads to him having timer matches.
yeah, so basically, well, with my opinion on timer, I've always believed that it doesn't really feel right to try to play for timer, like play the game, not the clock. Then I've seen some people use the analogy of, like, look at football.
Yeah.
Well, American football, to be clear, because that's the only football that matters.
Oh my god. Oh god, that hurts me so much.
So, yeah, regardless. In American football, because I'm American, that's, like, one of the only sports I know, the game ends by clock. So, like, if there's 2 minutes left, the winning team can essentially timer stall, in a sense. Whereas with Pokemon, if there's, like, 2 minutes left, like, the goal of the game is to knock out all the Pokemon on the other side. That's how the game ends. Like, the clock is just, like, a secondary way for the game to end, I feel. And, yeah, I've always believed that it doesn't really feel right to me to play the clock, not the game, but
yeah.
At the end of the day, Danza did really need this win, and with the way he was playing with the Fleur-Jays and stuff, had the game gone on indefinitely, well, firstly, it would have been even more boring to watch. But secondly, I think he would have been able to win the game, just because Tom was kind of... He seemed a little on tilt, just because all the stall and stuff.
Yeah, he definitely sounded on tilt to me in his commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, man. I think the thing is for me, like I can understand especially why people use the timer. So it's like I may not go for timer all the time, or like I said, it depends how bad. Like if I'm in a position where I make playoffs and all I have to do is wait 90 seconds, or I can click a move and I won't make playoffs, I'm probably gonna wait the 90 seconds. I don't know about you.
I would probably like, or if I was in that position, I would probably be really hesitant on what to do, and I wouldn't be sure what to do, and as a result, I would accidentally, I would accidentally play the clock.
Yeah. Me too. And it's definitely not something I would go after. And like I said, I enjoy competing, so I would pretty much always play to win.
Yeah. So
in terms of playing the game, not in terms of using the timer. Yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Sorry, we should probably get back to actually analyzing the plays, but I feel like like with this game, because it was so passive. Yeah, passive is definitely the right word for this game. There's not that many plays that there are to analyze, but I did like that he pulled a double from Florgrus to Heatran, predicting. I think he was predicting Sizzle. Yeah, I think he was predicting Sizzle to come in, but Tom went into the Gliscor, and Danzo just pulled a double out into his Heatran. So I felt like that was a bit. I didn't feel like that was an optimal play because Tom wouldn't Danzo wasn't expecting Sizzle to come. So you've got to kind of assume then, if you think that something's not good, that they have it for a particular reason. Whether that's to switch into your Floggerus or not, I'm not sure. But in Tom's head, the likelihood of you having Hidden Power Fire on Floggerus is quite high. So there's no point in him risking that and going into the Sizzle there.
Right, but also, in Tom's head, Danza probably wouldn't have prepped too hard for it. Like, it's hard to say whether or not he would have HP Fire, just for that reason. Because if Scizor has a bad matchup, then...
True, but it's not worth Tom risking it.
Yeah, that's fair.
If he's got Gliscor that can switch in, and if he sees the Hidden Power Fire on the predicted Sizzle switch in, then he knows. So I feel like that early in the game, at that point in the game, it wasn't worth Tom going Sizzle there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. The only other thing I had is he potentially could have subbed on the Ho-Oh again to get more recoil, and then maybe would have been able to take it out and keep his Palkia alive.
Yeah, had he clicked sub 1 or 2 more times, I don't know exactly how many more times he would have needed to click it, but yeah, he would have been able to kill the Ho-Oh just like that and keep his Palkia alive.
Yeah, exactly, which I think definitely he would have won the match if he had Palkia still alive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. He also made a very man play, to be fair. We said it was passive, but he stayed in with Tran on a Lati that had EQ to get a Toxic off because he didn't think that Tom would click the EQ there. That was extremely ballsy and it worked out well. But very, like I said, really ballsy play. Especially with, if Tom had gone for EQ and then Sizzle maybe could have done things.
Yeah. And that's, I don't have anything else to say about Danza because watching this game at 3 in the morning made my mind go numb. Do you have anything else to say?
Okay, cool. No, I'm all good with that. So let's move on to your number 6 and my number 5 in Lars.
Yeah. So Lars, he did basically throw this week because he and MV have a very good chance of playing each other in playoffs. So I don't think we can really say too much about him. But...
No, this was a weird match because they agreed to do a meme match. But like, if you look at this meme match compared to Kyle and Leo's meme match, like this just was no way near as memey. It was still fun to watch, and there was some cool stuff. But like Scarf to Azumarill was maybe the most heat thing on Lars's team.
Well,
where it
Magnet Rise, Hone Claws, Mega Lucario.
Oh yeah, okay, no, that was pretty cool. But actually, it was a decent set.
Yeah, well,
if he had priority, he won.
Yeah. So Mega Lucario's broken.
Yeah, Mega Lucario is broken. Yeah, really good one. And yeah, yeah, I felt like it wasn't that memey. Neither of them memed hard. I felt like they both kind of low-key wanted to win, but they didn't want to give away their best strategies.
Yeah, exactly. It's yeah, basically that. The sets were
Yeah.
cool in theory, but well, as we saw from Lars's end, they didn't really work in practice, and that's honestly fine. He's got a playoff spot locked. He wants to keep his best set secret for the game that actually matters, and that's like smart.
Yeah, exactly. One play I had, which I wasn't sure on, is that he switched into Aero on the Empoleon Scold, and it left Aero really low, whereas I feel like it was just kind of a waste of a switch in. I'm not 100% sure why he made that one play. But other than that, like you said, I think like we can move on. There's just not much to say about this game because it was kind of memey, and they both weren't going full out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. So should we go to my number 6 and your number 4? In Randy?
Sure.
So Randy beat Asta this week. He had a really cool team, I have to say. There was lots of memeing this week, but Randy's team was actually half decent. The reason I dropped him is like it just hit me this week. I know you've been saying it like every week, but Randy has been so lucky this season.
Yep.
Like, just if you guys want to see like something extremely lucky, go and watch that match because I felt so sorry for Asta. But we'll get to Asta when we get to him. I felt like his team was super cool. I love the rain dance. I love the Specs Suicune. I really liked seeing the play, but at the end of the day, he just got lucky, and that's why he won this match.
All right, here are my notes on Randy. Rain Dance Jolteon. Hacks as a win con. That is all. Keep up the good work, Randy.
yeah. I mean, he's got what? He's got the joint best record in the league.
Yeah.
He's only behind Leo on
With
differential.
Yeah. Leo's sitting at 8-1 plus 22, and Randy is 8-1 plus 16. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's insane, but he's a lucky boy. If he keeps playing like this and getting lucky like this, he'll be the GBA champion.
Yeah.
So watch out for that.
And that's why I finally decided to like bump him up a bit because, I mean, if we're being real, he's 8-1 because I mean he is 8-1 at the end of the day. If this keeps up.
Yeah, if you're right, if this keeps up, he's going to be GBA champion. But because I always had him higher than you, and this week I just felt like, I felt like I had to put him down lower, just simply because of how lucky he got again. But like you said, at the end of the day, he's 8-1. If he gets another win next week, he'll be back up. Like at the end of the day, we don't remember all the hacks wins. It's only that week that I specifically remember it. So when I look at a player that's 9-1, you know, even though Randy, say for example, he said 4 of his games he's won because of hacks. I don't remember the other 4. I just remember this week. But I don't know. This week really made me look back, and so I thought I'm gonna put him a bit lower.
Yeah. Understandable.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to your number 5 and my number 4.
Sure.
In his opponent, which is Asta. Okay, so I mean it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
This guy got so unlucky this game. I don't really know how he could have played it differently. Except for obviously he pulled a me and he didn't have his happiness on the, was it Stoutland? Yeah, he didn't have the happiness on the Stoutland. So it literally did 0 with the return. Trust me, Asta, I know the feels. You know that I know the feels. I did it like 3 times last season on the D-League. And this was just a tough match to watch. It must have been a tough match to play. I've never seen Asta rage quit in my life. So yeah.
I
Why are you laughing?
All right, I'm debating whether or not to go into a story time right now about Aster raging.
Okay.
UPA Season 5. My first league, Aster's first league. This was like 3 years ago now. Week 4. I played Aster. I played really badly that game. Then at the very end, my Mega Manectric was like 1v4ing the rest of his team. Then he sent out his Weavile. I was forced to click Overheat. Then he sent in his Primeape.
Hit Thunderbolt, man! No! No!
Then I crit him. Then he raged. It was amazing.
That's all I have to say about Aster, man. Tough luck. He'll bounce back next week. Is he clinched? No, technically, because if he loses 6-0 or 5-0 and Danza wins 5-0, then Danza would go ahead of him.
Because Aster is 6-3 plus 11, Danza is 5-4 -1. It would have to be 2 6-0s. Danza would have to win 6-0, Aster would have to lose 6-0, and then Danza would overtake him because of head-to-head, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so he's pretty much clinched playoffs.
Wait, actually, because no, because Aaron is 5-4 -3. Yeah, Aster's clinched playoffs.
Oh yeah, because even if he loses 6-0 and Aaron wins 6-0, he's still ahead of Aaron.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, okay, cool. So he has clinched playoffs. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Even though
cool.
it's not on the dock for some reason.
Yeah, it's not. I'm looking at the dock right now as well, and it's not the dock. But yeah, he has technically clinched. Okay, cool. So is that all we have to say about Aster?
Yeah.
Tough luck, basically. And so let's move on to both of our number 3s in Mama Jolt.
Indeed. So our information on Jolt's team is limited this week, so we have even less to say about him than usual. He mentioned that he has indeed noticed Aaron bringing very similar mons each week, so that made prepping even easier for him, I'm sure. It's kind of interesting to me that he didn't bring the Magearna. Like, he knows what Aaron is likely bringing, and I feel the only things that can really do a ton of damage to the Magearna are like the Mamoswine and maybe like V-Create Rayquaza. Maybe it was a matter of move slot syndrome, maybe he just didn't want to reveal his best sets in case they play again in playoffs. Either way, he won the game, he's been playing very well all season, and I think he has a pretty decent shot at winning it all, but yeah.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I definitely think he's got a decent shot of winning it all. I think he's been prepping and playing pretty much amazingly. The turn 1 trade, I think, was honestly just based off Aaron's good prep. Like, it was definitely unfortunate for, definitely Aaron got the better end of the stick. Well, it wasn't turn 1, it was turn 3 or 2 or whatever it was. With the Mamoswine and the Scolipede. But that was just good prep from Aaron, which forced Jolt to not be able to get the series of plays that he particularly wanted. Also, I completely understand also why he played around the Rayquaza the way he did, expecting it to be Sash, because literally Aaron has brought Sash every week. Even though it wasn't quite optimal, I completely understand the mindset behind it. I love the Bulk Up Mew. I love using Bulk Up Mew. I think it's such a good set of Mew and can really catch people off by guard. And Jolt really loves the Drain Punch Leaf Life one, right? He brought that in D-League as well. So definitely something that he's done before, and he uses it really well. He scouted well this game as well, and that's all I have to say. Like you said, we don't have any information on the team builder. We just know that he played well and he won. Yeah, that was pretty much the game.
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
All right.
So should we move on?
Yeah.
To your number 2 and my number 1 in Leo.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I didn't bump Leo down because of his play this week or anything. No, it's more because MV has been insane, but we'll get to him in a minute. But Leo and Kyle, of course, they wanted to have fun and just meme this week. Again, like Lars, I don't think we can really say about Leo's performance or anything. But yeah, this isn't. I didn't bump him down because he played poorly, but rather because I think MV is just playing stupidly good. And
yep.
I think MV right now is probably the best in the GBA, but again, we'll get to him in just a minute.
I'd be inclined to agree slightly, but the only reason I didn't change it was because MV and Leo both kind of played meme. I don't want to say unmatches, but neither of them were going anywhere near their full, so I felt like I was just going to leave them as is.
Yeah, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I guess another reason that I have MV above Leo is because I believe they did play this season, and I believe MV won. That's Leo's only loss.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it was MV's first win.
Yeah.
It's what started the comeback. Yeah, for sure. Leo brought some really nice memes. last game though, I just want to go over like Endeavor, Ferrothorn. That was sick.
I can't believe that worked.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. His whole team was was hype. You guys should go and watch. And I don't really know why he had Hypnosis, why he had Dark Void over Hypnosis. They do exactly the same thing, but Dark Void's less accurate.
Memes, that's why.
Yeah, memes and stuffs and things.
Yeah.
So yeah, really not much to say other than it's very entertaining to watch, and you guys should go watch it. Also, I think he was in, how do you say, good spirits for his match, so it makes it an entertaining watch.
Yeah, it made it a lot more fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, at the end of the day, he is in first place in the entire GBA, so keep up the good work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and to be fair, even then, he managed to like play well. You know, like playing around the fly, Zekrom with sub and stuff like that with his calm mind.
Yeah. But he also made like big baller man plays just because he could, and he.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah. Of course, not the optimal plays, but the fun plays.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what he was shooting for, so it's kind of fair enough. Okay, cool. So should we move on to MV? Your number one and my number two.
So yeah, I know Lars basically threw this week, but yeah, I think MV is the best player in the GBA right now. This week, of course, we don't have much to say about him, because again, he and Lars didn't want to reveal their best sets. But as we mentioned before, it's very possible that MV could have gone undefeated this season. Ever since he dropped Hoa for Lugia, he's just been tearing the league apart, taking down literally every single player he's faced, including quite a few very highly ranked players. And just because he's been using Lugia so stupidly well, I don't really see him losing anytime soon. And I think he is number one.
I would say that he's probably going to be the favorite going into playoffs.
Yeah.
To win it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That definitely makes sense. And like you said, without covering all the same stuff we just said with Lars, that the sets weren't that memey, but they were memeing, yada yada yada. There's no point us just repeating the same thing. The same applies to MV here. Happy late birthday as well, MV. I know it was his birthday when that went up. So yeah, that's all we really have to say. So I think that pretty much wraps up. What week are we now? Week 9, right?
Yep.
Week 9 power ranking. So next week is the last week of the regular season. And we've got some hype finishes with Tup and Nate and Aaron and Danza. They all have to win, and they all have a very good chance of making playoffs. So definitely make sure you guys are checking out at least those games, if not all the games. Check out all the coaches that will be in the description down below. But other than that, do you have anything else to say, Ben?
I got a new headset, yay, because I broke my one from last week.
Yay. Okay, cool. We'll see you guys next week.